I'm Brian Seddon. I'm 79 years old. I live in Atherton, Greater Manchester, and this is just a brief history of my life leading up to being presented with a British Empire Medal. As a child, I loved all outdoor sports. I joined in everything. We played from 7 o'clock at morning till 10 at night, all outside on the fields, playing football, rugby, cricket, you name it, we played it. My first job was at Bellows Higson's at Daisy Hill. It was they made sewing cotton, and then I started work at Waterfield's Bakery. That was incredibly hard work. We used to do a 60-hour week. Then I got a job at Bolton Gate Company, which I hated. So a friend of mine and myself decided to buy a window cleaning round, which we did, and I was a window cleaner for 37 years. But then unfortunately my knees gave in on me, and I ended up where I couldn't even walk to the door. So 2 new knee operations give me back my mobility, and I managed to get a job as a supervisor then for Salford Probation Service, which I did for the last 10 years of my working career, and it was the best job I've ever had. I loved every minute of it. I'd always been involved with community work as a young lad, really, because being a member of St George's Boys Club, we always were going round getting people into our youth club. At one time we had over 300 members, and considering it was all in a primary school, it was tremendous. So then we moved to Briarcroft Youth Club, which was massive old Victorian building, which then gave us the opportunity to do other sports, other activities. And then when I was 16, I got awarded my Duke of Edinburgh's Gold Award badge, which at the time was massive because nobody else had got it. Certainly not in South Lancashire. In fact, I was the first person to be awarded to the gold medal at that stage. I was 16. We then got invited down to Buckingham Palace, where the Duke himself presented it to us in the Versailles Ballroom, which was an incredible honour for such a young lad. And that then encouraged me to carry on in that type of field, and at that time then a few youth clubs then started to open. At 18-year-old, I got a job as a youth leader at West Orton Youth Club. A paid role, only part-time, but nevertheless it was a paid role, 3 nights a week. And then that I encouraged the lads and girls to take up the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme. I used to run football tournaments, you name it, anything to get the young lads and girls involved in doing something they don't normally do. So then I got a job at Briarcroft Youth Club in Atherton, which was brilliant. Well, really, I've always been into organising events, because as I was a youth leader, I was also heavily involved in my local football club, Atherton LR Football Club, which was then named Laburnum Rovers. I took over at treasurer's role when we'd not 1 penny in the bank. So the first thing I did, I organised a sponsored walk to Blackpool. About 40 of us were players, official. At the end of the day, we made over £300, which was an incredible amount of money, saying we'd got nothing. And then the week after, I'd organised a charity function at a nightclub in Leigh called the Garrick. And what the owner used to do, because it was quiet during the week and he'd still got the top line artist booked, he said, why don't you do a charity do? You sell tickets, the artists are paid for, and you can have all money off tickets. So we did, and we did an incredible night. We made over £400 on that. So within space of a week, from having not a penny in bank, we had over £700, with nearly £800 from nothing. So then I organised the first, what we called gala days, and that were an event opening club up, letting people visit. We put games on and stalls on selling bric-a-brac and stuff like that. We got all wives involved, and first one we did, we made over £1,000. So that then became an annual thing, which enabled us generally just to improve club work, become a decent football club. I was working then as a supervisor for Salford, and I'd had it in my mind for a few years about renewing the Atherton Carnival, which Atherton used to have a carnival, really cracking day, but then lack of volunteers and stuff like that, not been run for about 25 years. So unfortunately, our son died, and I had this thing then where I thought I need to do something extra, because I don't want a name not mean anything. So it renewed my interest then for do the carnival. So I spent nearly 2 years going to all of these different organisations in Atherton, asking them to help and let's get together, let's get a carnival going. But everywhere I got, it's too much work and no, we've not time. But I was determined, I thought we can do this. So what it was, I landed lucky really in one sense, because I knew the people at our children's centre, and I got a call from 2 of them and they said, we'll help you organise a carnival. So at that rate there was only 3 of us, and we sat down with not a penny, again no money. So first thing I did, I went round to every primary school in Atherton to ask them to join, told them with no money for nothing, they'd have to do all their own costumes, you name it. But the response I got was brilliant. So then I got £500 off 2 local councillors. We then got £500 off fairground, and that's what we did. We started off with £1,000, that covered our costs at the first carnival. We've now been going 15 years. I think the last attendance at our carnival 2022 was over 3,000. It's now become the biggest community event in our town. About 8 years ago, we decided to relive the walking nativity parade, which a group used to run. We got every school in Atherton taking part. Again, got a bit of funding from our local councillors. It's a major event in Atherton. It's one which everybody looks forward to. Everybody loves being part of it. We've got Mary and Joseph on donkeys coming down Market Street, knocking at pub doors, and then reenact the scene at church. It's a brilliant event. Every August now, my wife and I, Eileen, are part of the Friends of Atherton Park. Again, not a penny to our name, so I decided, why don't we do a Proms in the Park event? I managed to convince the chairperson, Nat, at the time, let's do it, let's just give it a go. And we did, and on our first one we made £1,800. Again now, it's a major event in Atherton, and again, 2022, we must have had over 3,000 people at that event. And again, it's a superb community event. They're all similar events, but they're just different. They're all bringing community together, families together, everybody having a bit of pride in the town. We did run a youth club for about 12 years, my wife and I, at local fire station. That was again quite successful with partnership we had with firefighters. We used to do teas and coffees when they did fundraising for their events. We'd go down and make teas and coffees for everybody. So we made a nice little partnership. We also ran a community cafe for many, many years, but then COVID put a stop to most of things like that, and we used to run summer camps, again up to COVID. We averaged 65 to 70 kids a day coming, playing all different sports, doing arts and crafts, various different entertainment that keep children happy. We used to provide them with a breakfast and a lunch, and we were so successful with that Wigan Borough now run them throughout the borough themselves because of the blueprint. Arlene and I ran it. It gives us immense pleasure to know that we started something off which is now part of borough life, if you like. The award came about really because the work I'm involved with being a volunteer at our Starwell Centre and the Meadowbank Primary School. I spend obviously loads of time at the school working with Titler, Claire O'Malley, who's manager at Starwell Centre, Jenny, who's business manager. Jenny's my connection with all the schools. She keeps me in touch with all the schools. About 8 years ago, there was Stars of Wigan, and I was nominated for Volunteer of the Year award, and Claire O'Malley nominated myself for this award, and lo and behold, I won it. Then they apparently for a few years have been nominating me for a British Empire medal. So then I was home on Saturday, I was out shopping, post come and this letter come, but when I opened it, it was saying I've been awarded this medal. So I was absolutely gobsmacked. I really were. I read it 4 times before it sunk in what it was. So then Arlene came home and I handed her a letter, and she was saying, but we were told we'd not let anybody know until Boxing Day, or otherwise it could compromise the fact that I've been awarded a medal. So for 3 months we had to keep quiet, which was absolutely killed us, because we just wanted to tell our family. So we never said anything till the Boxing Day, and our family came Boxing Day, and I got Jenny for come with Claire that read letter to everybody, but it just knocked me out, because I didn't think anybody knew anything about what we did, but it just shows the appreciation what people thought of what we're doing. I still think, and I've always said, it should have been a joint award, and it should have been both for myself and Arlene, because Arlene, well, without Arlene I couldn't do what I'm doing, so. But unfortunately they said they only could award it to one. So then we got invited to go to a presentation at the monastery in Manchester, but then COVID started coming about, so that was cancelled. But then Arlene and Jenny and Claire organised a do at school. This was just before COVID, where everybody who's involved with everything we do come. It's a thanks to what we'd done with our kids at school. They were singing and we had a nice buffet and a glass of champagne and stuff, and that was really nice. So then I got a phone call from the Lancashire Duchy saying she's coming to presenting it at your house. So I set a table up at front on the footpath in front of our house. I was told just lay it medal out. She will come, she'll put medal on the table. I could take it. She couldn't give it me. That right. So she came, presented, took medal on front doorstep. We had a couple of photos taken, and then that right. From being a big presentation do at the monastery and palace to one at front at steps. So, but I think in hindsight it's probably about right, that, because we do everything in community, so we should have been presented with it in community. So I think that was all right. We did go to Buckingham Palace for a garden party. It absolutely poured down all day. But the experience was nice, and it was nice for Arlene to go and get dressed up, although she got sore through to the skin. We're definitely carrying on. We've already started laying the first bricks for 2023 Carnival. The proms in the park. We've already discussed the walking activity with Reverend Tracy. The most exciting part about that is I've asked can we have sheep and the donkeys in the church on the night, and she says I can't see no problem. So hopefully we'll have a realistic nativity now. And I'm still the director of Alton Allied Football Club, which I've been doing for 60 years, so I see no reason for it to stop that. As long as the body's okay, because the mind will always be willing. As long as the body holds up, we'll carry on and do what we're doing, because we love doing what we're doing. That's the main thing. We just love doing what we're doing.